very highest package holders from NIPER Mohali in a very good firm. So she is Barsha Bharadwaj.
This is one of the striking thing about sir, apart from all the seniors, is that whenever we used to meet, I'll go out of my hostel gate, and if sir is like just passing by me, sir would ask me 2 questions, and हम इतना टेंशन में पड़ जाते थे क्योंकि सर हमेशा जो नए नए डेवलपमेंट्स होते रहते थे फार्माकोलॉजी में, उससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछते थे। ऐसा भी नहीं कि जीपेट और नाइपर के प्रिपरेशन में जो हमने पढ़ाई किया था, सो हमको मतलब कैसे भी करके अपडेटेड रहना पड़ता था, नहीं तो सर को आंसर नहीं कर पाते थे तो फिर से पकड़ते थे, तो कैसे भी पढ़ना ही पड़ता था। It helped me a lot actually, during my interview. Some of the things I studied during that time, I was able to communicate those things to the interviewers. Very grateful, sir.
Session again, we have a very special guest, or I can say I've seen her. She's very multi-talented and you can say a very interdisciplinary personality because she likes to go in depth. I remember her coming for the first, nobody takes that first semester project proposal that seriously, but she was so much she was so dedicated, sincerely, she wanted everything to be perfect. And her project was one of the finest ones that I have seen. And also, we are not allowed to reveal the package and company name, but she's also one of the very highest package holders from NIPER Mohali in a very good firm. So she is Barsha Bharadwaj, and she has obviously cracked pharmacology and toxicology and is under the guidance of Professor Sam Sharma sir in pharmacology lab. So Barsha, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and joining and guiding our students today, accepting the invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, I'm flattered by the way you viewed me. So I'm really, honored actually. And yeah, everyone, so hi, I'm Barsha Bharadwaj. So I am a second year master's student in NIPER Mohali. I am currently in the Department of Pharmacology and Toxicology, and I'm under the guidance of Professor Shyam Sundar Sharma. So technically, sir and me are from the same lab, and he is also my senior, and he has been an excellent mentor throughout my journey, like start of my journey in NIPER Mohali until now. He's always been available and very helpful to me. So yeah, thank you, sir, for that.
All right. Barsha, there are a lot of students who have a lot of queries about neuropharmacology. What should they study specific from pharmacology? They also want to know your strategy. So one by one, we can cater to all of these questions, starting with your strategy. That how did you prepare for your GPAT, for your NIPER, sorry. And what was your take on non-pharma part? Because you would be knowing, right? This time the non-pharma part is 80 questions and 120 are pharma. So the pattern has changed. So how was your preparation for non-pharma? And also for your placement, if you could tell how you prepared for non-pharma, if that would also be helpful for students.
Okay, sir. So, am I clearly audible?
Yes, you are clearly audible and visible. No issues.
So, I started preparing for GPAT and NIPER from 1 year ahead of the examinations. So I started preparing for that, and throughout that journey, like the 1 year of my preparation, my strategy changed multiple times. I did not follow the same strategy from the beginning. And while I was, moving forward with the preparation, a lot of things I incorporated into my study. So in case of pharmacology, I actually was doing, coaching, and I was taking resources from multiple sources for my preparation. But yeah, I'll recommend you people to hold on to single sources there. It would be better. Like for lectures, you can hold on to single source, and for practicing questions, you can, prefer multiple sources. So the thing was that initially I mainly focused on, curating my notes, collecting notes. And then after some time, I moved on into, practicing questions. So my approach for studying any subject was like, I would look into the topic and analyze which topic, hold how much of weightage in the examination. And then I, ranked them in the order like ANS, CNS, then NSIDs, then chemotherapy, like, like the order of their importance or the weightage they carry. So that's what I did. And while I did lectures from, and I'll not mention the sources, but I religiously followed lectures of some of the coachings, and I did that. And revisions and solving multiple questions is what I feel helped me to crack the examinations. Like, I feel like doing lectures is not enough. Revision and question solving is what will make you hold on to that rank. Now, the important thing is, when I started with my journey, initially I did not solve as many questions as I would have liked to. And I would not recommend you to this to a lot of people. I'll say that solve questions, solve as many questions as possible. But my initial phase focused mainly on collecting the notes. And after some time, I got acclimatized with the coaching's routine and my study pattern. Then I started solving the questions. Now I remember 4 to 3 months ahead of the actual examination, like GPAT or NIPER, my frequency of solving questions had reached about 250 to 300 questions per day. Now, for some people, it might be a lot. For some people, it might be less. But for me, it was enough. Because one of the important strategy which I like to highlight here is, a lot of time we solve questions, but and we miss a lot of questions, and we are able to solve correctly a lot of questions, and there are some questions which are doubtful to us. So while solving questions each day, I made sure that I visited the questions I could not solve. I revisited along with the questions and the concept. I revisited that, and also the doubtful ones. I revisited those questions also. So it helped me to for example, if there were 250 questions I solved in a day, and there were 50 questions I used to miss, for example. And it's a normal thing to happen. Like, even if you study a lot, it's normal for you to miss questions in the preparation phase, of course not in examination. So what happened is, I used to revisit the 50 questions. Now, the 50 questions were definitely from 50 different topics, right? So eventually that helped me to revise that 50 topics in that single day. So, question solving, I feel like, is the backbone of, every competitive examination. The more question you solve, the more would be your chances of being successful in that examination. And yeah, classification system is, I made a separate copy in which I uh, thoroughly wrote down the classifications of the drugs and the topics. Now, for classification, I did not follow KDT or any other mainstream book, because a lot of time what happened, new drugs are not added, or some of the drugs which have got banned, you naturally don't get to know about that by looking at that printed classification in the group. So I took the guidance of the lectures which I was doing at that time. And because when, for example, if Payam sir is explaining some classification today, then definitely he will give you the most updated version. Or any teacher, if they are explaining it today, they'll provide you the most updated version, and they'll also mention which drugs are banned, why is it banned, so what are the effects. So that way you would be very much updated. So I made sure to carry the very updated classification of all the topics, or the drugs. And I never stayed away from that copy. Like, I had it in my hand whenever I went to college. I used to get some gap period, then sometime after lunch, whenever I used to be free, I would just like revise it in my brain. And when I used to forget it, I'll look into that copy. And yeah, that helped me a lot for pharmacology. I feel for studying any topic, pathophysiology of the disease is very important. After that, the mechanism of action of all the drugs. After that, the side effects. Then, according to the disease, you'll have the drug of choice, and that is very important. So these are one of the mainstream questions. Like, mainstream questions are like MOA, then adverse effect, then drug of choice, then poisoning related, antidote related questions are very important. So yeah.
Regarding Barsha, she's a perfectionist as far as I have seen her. Even in her room now, you can see everything is properly like a girly vibe. And Barsha, notes you mentioned about you prepared. So could you tell how you prepared your notes? Like what was there in your notes? What content did you add? And along with that, many students have semester 8 exam also going on. So they have a query that how did you manage your semester 8 papers, semester papers and the NIPER paper? Both of the questions.
Yeah, there is a great questions. For my notes preparation, I used to, I was enrolled in a coaching, right? I got myself enrolled in a coaching because everybody knows it. If you are in seventh semester and if you are studying, stuff about sixth semester, it's not easy for you to keep track of that thing, right? So I feel like, it's my personal opinion actually. I feel no matter how intelligent you are, I feel like you should at least follow one or the other, teacher's lecture, even in YouTube or even paid lecture or anything. You must follow it because doing it all on your own would be, a bit, it might be, taking you away from the track. Now, when I say so, I'm not telling you to, possibly invest money, take a, high paying coaching and all. You can also learn freely from YouTube, but yeah, follow a teacher so that you are on the track, because when you reach seventh semester the course load is so high, it's very harder for you to keep track about sixth, fifth or fourth semester. But topics are, it's very much inclusive. Everything is gonna come from like first semester to the eighth semester, so you should study everything, right? So it's important for you to follow a particular teacher. I feel so that and for making notes, I did regular lectures, like topic wise. I had topic wise notes prepared. And after that, for the classification, I told you, for classification I had a different copy that was made for only for classifications and side effect. And for the schematic thing, MOA thing, pathophysiology things, that I used to learn in the class when the teacher used to explain it, I used to make notes then. And one of the important thing I'd like to mention you here is that a lot of people emphasize on live class, but I am someone who never did live class for pharmacology. I never did it because initially I used to do, then I noticed a pattern that sometime,
Barsha, Barsha
yeah,
plus one. Even I never attended any live class during my
yeah.
time.
I it takes away a lot of time, right? And when
Time.
you are managing semester, it's difficult because, for example, you want to repeat a topic. Recorded classes, you can do it easily, right? And sometimes, I know sometimes it's entertaining, but a lot of time what
Mm.
happen, students are sometimes asking, unwanted questions, and it is very distracting and it takes away a lot of time. For me, organic chemistry part, pharmacognosy, and medicinal chemistry, I preferred live classes for those subjects. And rest of the classes I only did recorded classes. Organic chemistry, because sometimes it can be very monotonous, right? So I, for the practical subject like chemistry, where you have to deal with structure, remember the structure, I did live classes. Rest of the thing I did recorded classes, and that was very efficient for me because like a class of 1.5 hours I could complete in 45 minutes and 50 minutes. And it's all about saving the time, right? And it's not that you will be weak in all the topics. Sometimes you are very good in some topic, and sometimes you are bad in some topics. So I felt like doing so really helped me to repeat the class whenever I find it difficult. And when it was easy, I could skip it, or like view it in like 2x or 1.5x speed. So that is one of the main way by which I saved my time. I did all the classes, like for totally, I think I did almost 650 to 700 classes. So I did all the classes, but I did not do all the live classes. So that is one thing.
That's the best strategy. When I feel watching at recording saves lot of time. क्योंकि
Yeah,
सबकी
it
pace
saves
अलग
a
अलग
lot of
है.
time, especially if you are a student, semester student,
Hmm.
because nobody takes, mostly people don't take drop year after B Farm, right? So they are simultaneously preparing this with along with their semester examination. So
But
yeah, and about
yeah,
managing the semester paper, I'd like to say one thing. never think that studying for your semester is a waste. Try to incorporate, the concept. But I'd like to add one more thing. Now, sometimes what happens, no, all the teachers are not good in your college, right? Sometimes they mess around it with your concept, then things can get really difficult, because they will not give you marks for the concept you have learned in coaching. They'll like their own concept or own paragraph to write. You have to write in the examination. Things can get difficult there. But yeah, uh, so like you can like I feel so that sometimes people drop. They say that I okay मैं तो GPAT के लिए पढ़ रहा हूँ, तो I'll not study for this examination. I feel that's a bad idea. Balance both the side. A student doing good in GPAT will eventually also do good in semester examination. Right? At least he won't fail. That's like my guarantee. Like if you are actually studying properly for GPAT, you will never fail in a semester. But yeah, things can get really challenging and difficult if you want to be a gold medalist and also secure rank in NIPER and GPAT. Then things can get difficult. Not everyone can do that. Some of us, like some of the people are really lucky and is hardworking. They're somehow able to manage that. But yeah, sometimes you just have to compromise. Like okay, you have to
Karan is also
prioritize sometimes.
Karan is also saying same thing. One day study is enough before the exam for semester.
Yeah. One day study is definitely enough. I feel so. And I some of the teacher in my cases were really good. Their concept and whatever I was learning in lectures for GPAT really aligned. So also that I used to my advantage, and I used to incorporate both that together in study. But sometimes the teacher used to teach completely different thing, and that time I used to I made it clear that I would just write this whatever is there in my exam, and I'll just forget it. For just I used to like spill it out in the all in the examination and forget it after that semester. That I used to keep it in my temporary memory.
Partha is asking one question, Barsha. Strategy for medicinal chemistry and pharmacognosy preparation and major sources of non-pharma. These two are the questions.
Okay. Um Now you see, I mentioned one thing that I did live classes for medicinal chemistry. So chemistry can get really monotonous at some time, right? Now it's very important for you to be very vigilant and very alert from the very beginning of that classes of whichever source you are following, right? You have to be very vigilant and very alert, and incorporate the classification thing with pharmacology, and you can study it that way. And chemistry, you cannot do it without practice. You need to practice it and revision. Sometimes you might think that okay, pharmacology मैंने आज पढ़ लिया, कल मैं revise नहीं करूंगा. But for chemistry you cannot do that. At least your nomenclature should be very perfect, right? Then classification should be very perfect, and it kind of gets easier, right? With pharmacology you can incorporate it. Mechanism action are already taken care in pharmacology. Now you have to mention, you have to focus on the structure and the nomenclature, and that can only be achieved by practicing as much as you can. Like it's like you cannot compromise practicing for chemistry, even organic chemistry and medicinal chemistry both. I'll say that. And yeah, for non-pharma, I mostly I got an assistance from my coaching classes. I followed their books, and I also went through some online websites for like FT and all. Then I used to specifically search, because I knew that they won't give so much tough question like 11 or 12 standard or level of question. It would not have permutation, combination, differentiation, those will not be the questions. So I used to I used AI also for that purpose. No sir, I did use it. I used to be like formulate me some questions for competitive examination till 10th standard, make it for till 10th standard, make it as hard as possible. And I used to solve those questions. And coaching materials, some of the materials really helped. And honestly, I won't lie, but I feel like the high school level studying GK, science, social and all, it really helped me.
Okay.
At that point, it really helped me. I felt so.
Right.
Like, sometimes, yeah, this helps. Like, otherwise, like you can't even think. And yeah, one more thing I'd like to add. When I appeared for my exam, NIPER specifically, I got there were a lot of question. The question was prepared by NIPER Guwahati, right? And there were
Yeah.
some questions, more questions, 2 3 questions, they were from specific to the state. So I felt like, it's a trick. Like it was about, Kaziranga National Park,
Ah.
or, yes, such questions.
This time also,
So
Barsha, we have Mohali conducting the NIPER Mohali.
yeah, so there might be some questions about, major river, park, and something like that, which are, up to the national standard. I feel so. So that you should keep in mind that at least some of the river name
You
or
know this
something
point
like
that
that.
she mentioned, river, क्योंकि यहाँ पे चंडीगढ़ में the hostel that we have in NIPER,
Yeah,
Chenab, Ravi,
Nagama.
Satluj. You
Yeah,
know these,
all these are river names.
yes. So these are all 5 rivers. So y'all can note this down. Very important point that she mentioned. कि आप ये सब देख सकते हो एक नॉन फार्मा का रिवर्स वगैरह स्पेसिफिक.
Yeah.
Yeah, please continue, Barsha.
So yeah, and then there were some questions from linear equation in 2 variables and 1 variables. Pretty much easy, right? We have all done it in 10th standard. So, like, just think that whatever you studied till 10th standard, tell AI to curate questions for you and solve as many questions as possible, like algebra, linear equation in 1 variable, quadratic equations also, straight line question y equal to mx plus c. Those were also there in the papers. So yeah, clock related questions, the timing, the angle. If it's like 2 p.m., what's the angle made between the minute hand and the hour hand, something like that. So yeah.
There's a question from Pratham. From where did you study subjects like toxicology, pharmacoinformatics, tools of bioinformatics?
From where to study the subject like pharmacoinformatics, PV, and toxicology?
Yeah, that's a question from Pratham. That if you have PI tools and all, because docking softwares and all, they are very commonly asked. Toxicology पे antidotes वगैरह काफी पूछते हैं तो.
Okay, oh, he mean that, right? I
Yeah.
was like, okay, these are the department names here, and I was like, wow. Because when I was preparing for GPAT and NIPER, pharmacoinformatics was not entirely a different entity. It came under pharmacology. So yeah, what happens? There are main topics in pharmacology like ANS, CNS, chemotherapy, NSIDS, etc. Right? But there is towards the last, there is a topic about poisoning. There's lead poisoning, mercury poisoning. There is a topic, and a lot of people skip it. They feel like that the initial list of poisoning, like methanol poisoning, alcohol poisoning. Yeah, when they studied, they feel like it's taken care of. But a lot of thing about garbage, charcoal, British this thing,
Right.
these are actually covered at last in an entirely different topic. Read it thoroughly, at least 4 or 5 times, go through the entire topic thoroughly. And yeah, and pharmacoinformatics, there is also a topic in actually in pharmacology where there would be a little description of all the topics like pharmacoinformatics, pharmacotherapeutics, what are all these. There is a topic, actually a lot of people don't study it. Like people ignore it, like they ignore the general pharmacology part because it gets
एगोनिस्ट वगैरह ही है.
it's very
Receptor.
repetitive, and they kind of sometimes ignore it. Yeah, so go through that topic thoroughly, and it's easy. It can be taken care of in that way. Questions are pretty much predictable from there.
Absolutely.
And yeah, pharmacology is a very interesting subject. Sometimes I used to get distracted in the subject itself. Okay, I used to dive so deeper. Then at one point, I made it clear to myself that I need to study from a very exam point of view.
Yeah, this
right?
one point I like to know, that's a very good quality that, in a researcher, she dives deep into a subject. I remember her, I guess, on chronopharmacology, right? You are this PP or
Yes, sir.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
CP is credit presentation. And that time she was making her presentation and she had proper list में चार पांच gene होती है, BMAL, CRY, clock, per gene. So she had very in depth, and when we took her mock presentation, she was able to, because my CP, unfortunately,
Yeah.
uska jo
So
CP
I
topic tha.
totally, so I totally took inspiration from you. So it was all you. Actually, we were so inspired by you
Acha.
because you had been managing so many things
Mhm.
together. And yeah, we really
Mhm.
looked up to you. And I was like, no, sir did it. I should do it too. It's such a good topic. It was such a
Correct.
fascination we had towards you. So yeah, you really,
Mhm.
showed us the way. So we're very grateful. We
So
talk about you all the time. We miss you here so much.
same here. I also miss you all, dear, definitely. And I saw now y'all had also organized a dance, right, of the Northeast. I saw complete that outfit somebody kept on Instagram. I saw
Yeah.
that. Very good. Very happy to see. I think it
Yes,
happened for the first time, and before that, it was not.
yeah.
Nobody did
So
that.
that was one thing. I was like, I'm supposed to leave this campus after 2 months, right? So I felt like I should give some. I usually don't show that side of mine to a lot of people. Then I
Okay.
was like, okay, it might actually be end of my academic life, and it's okay. So I sang a song, I danced, and
Okay.
everybody was so shocked
Very
and
good.
surprised. Like, okay, my guide really appreciated it. So when he saw me in the costume, he was not actually going to attend the function because
Correct.
of some personal things. But when he saw me and he asked me when is your performance, I said it's my first performance, it's mine. Then he made time and he went and he sat there, and I felt really honored and
That's
very supported. So it was great.
that's amazing. Good to hear that. Barsha, if you could just tell them about what could be the info, because you have done pharmacology there for 2 years, right? So any
Yeah.
important domains, if suppose NIPER Mohali is setting the paper, so definitely if it will be from the within the campus that the paper will be set. So any important topics according to you, which could come in the examination, which has high chances or probability that suppose in college only, if you can precisely about the domains as per the faculties, if you could just brief them about that, or any other department also, if you are aware of, you can go.
Other now things get really segregated here, right,
Hmm.
sir? It's very difficult for us to
True.
make an idea about other
Other part.
department because these are
Correct.
entirely a different block. But for my department, I'll
Yeah.
say that our
Hmm.
HOD works in neuropharmacology, very much interested in neuropharmacology, and there is a different faculty who is also a student of our HOD. He
Hmm.
works in diabetic nephropathy. Okay. So
Hmm.
I really feel that the topic you must not at all ignore is ANS pharmacology,
Yes. Hmm.
CNS pharmacology. Do not ignore this topic, and diabetes.
Hmm.
These are the must have topic. And there are new faculty who have joined our campus,
Right.
and they are working on this infectious disease antibiotics, so
Acha.
chemotherapy. Do not compromise with chemotherapy. And
Okay.
these are pretty scoring thing. The
Hmm.
toxicity, the adverse effect can only ototoxicity, nephrotoxicity. This
Hmm.
can only give you, so help you to carry marks. So that's
Okay.
what ANS and CNS, do not ignore it. Like, go through it thoroughly with all, like MOA, adverse reaction, drug of choice, and
Hmm.
yeah, uh, try to remember the drug with the suffix. It's easier that way, right?
Hmm.
Easier, and at the same time, make sure to not get confused. Also, try to look at the spelling. When I say suffix, now do not look at the how it sounds, because sometimes it might be different.
I've just say, one thing that she mentioned, statins. So statins, may you have cilastatin also, you have rosuvastatin also, and you have nystatin also. All the three have same suffix, but they are different, right? So cilastatin is your renal dehydropeptidase with imipenem. Nystatin is antifungal, and rosuva is hyperlipidemic. So that ma'am mentioned this point very importantly, that suffix you can remember, but some are same
Some are
suffix.
tricky.
Tricky, very
Some can be
tricky.
tricky. And
Correct.
that trickiness can actually help you to remember it because it's exceptional, right?
हाँ,
So yeah.
exceptional चीजें अक्सर पूछते हैं, and definitely when on that note, even Varsha was one of the very exceptional juniors. That's the reason we even called her. How would you? Okay, that's why we called her for this session. Varsha, we have two more questions. I hope we have time to pick them up.
Yeah. How could you be able to remember drugs name ADR for prolonged time?
Revisions
Now
and
this is
your longer time.
now this is very important.
Hmm.
See, remember, if you want to get seat in NIPER Mohali, preferably try to keep your rank under 100, right? So, and if you want to keep your rank under 100, you need to study. Studying is not enough. Revision is very much important. But how would you not forget things? There is a trick, and it's not a trick. It's it's like mainstream how you have to study. For example, if you study a topic of pharmacology today, right? You decided that you'll study pharmacology today, pharmacognosy, and then ceutics. 3 subjects today. You decided to study, right? Then you learned a lot of things. After concluding the 3 studying part, revise it. Okay. And then when you start, now you might again study pharmacology tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow, right? So when you start with a new topic, pharmacology tomorrow or a day after tomorrow, make sure that you revise what you studied a day earlier. Now you may tell that, ma'am, in this manner, what would happen if I study 10 topic, then while studying the 10th topic, I'll have to go through, you mean I'll have to go through the 9 topics before the 10th topic? But always remember, when you are studying the first topic for the 9th time, it won't take much time. You just have to go through it superficially and that would be enough. So some will take some time, but the rest of the things would be much easier. So, try to make, try to take this as a challenge for yourself that if I'm studying the 15th topic today for pharmacology, I'll try at least to, study or revise the 14th topic, which I have learned priorly. And yeah, and believe me, it won't take time because in this manner, what would you have done is like, when we're studying the 14th topic for the 14th time, that means the first topic is taking at least 14th time, right? So it won't take time. You have already studied it a lot, so things would be easier. And revision is the key. I'll tell you, if you want rank, you must revise. Without revision, you won't get a rank. I can guarantee you that. And the next thing is question solving. Solve as many questions as possible, but make sure to visit the question you are not able to solve and question which you are doubtful about and you got it correct accidentally. Make sure to visit that.
Barsha, any websites or anything that you'll tell them for non-pharma? No? They have been looking out. So I've told them One India Bix. If you're aware of any other, you can share it with me. I'll share it with them. Or if you can now also brief them about non-pharma, like any sites, because you told, right, you used to question practice.
Actually,
Any app, any websites that you're aware of for non-pharma as of now?
right now, the website that's coming to my mind is India Bix only, but
Okay.
shortly I'll share you
Yeah,
because
please. Yeah.
the NIPER preparation, I have, it's been some days,
I
and
totally
I
understand. Yeah,
yeah. So, but sir, India Bix had so many questions.
So many. Lovely. उसी में उनका मैंने वही बोला उनको that it
Yeah.
has so many, you can solve that, उसी में हो जाएगा.
उसी में हो जाएगा और मतलब इतने क्वेश्चंस काफी हाई लेवल के भी है उधर. अगर उतना उनका कॉन्सेप्ट ऑलरेडी है तो नाइपर का क्वेश्चंस उतना टफ नहीं होता. 9th और 10th लेवल के मैथ्स आते हैं उधर, क्लास 10 और 9th, और वो भी नहीं कि 9th और 10th के टफ मैथ्स भी नहीं आते, इजी वाले
हाँ,
आते.
easy आ जाते, इतने भी tough नहीं होते.
हाँ.
All right. Barsha, I think so. You have covered most of the queries for that are being, asked by the students. So moving on to the vote of thanks, I am really, really happy to have you for this webinar, for this session discussion. Really, you were very insightful. I hope students, we have a total batch of 157 students, Barsha, but many of them have exams, so only few could join live, but they'll be watching the recording surely. So I hope that out of those 157, some would be your super juniors soon in pharmacology
Yeah,
or
I
some
hope so.
departments.
I very much wish so. So,
Definitely.
like, I'd be really glad to
Yeah.
see some of you here.
Absolutely. So I would like to, present to you a small certificate of appreciation as our company is now MSME and ISO certified by the Government of India. So thank you so much, Barsha, for serving as a resource person and guiding the students and solving their doubts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. And I'm actually honored to be here. And
मैं एक चीज बताना चाहूंगा about Barsha. I have seen her in 2 years when she entered NIPER and now when she will be exiting the NIPER. Her personality has transformed मतलब she was very talented and very knowledgeable but very quiet person. मतलब अपने से सुमित अपना काम करेगी. She used to be very silent girl. But now she's so confident. She is speaking to you all and with such grace and such I'm really very happy to see such a great transformation within you. Very proud of you for what
sir,
you have
I
done.
honestly, sir,
Yeah.
I'm flattered that you could see this in me, but it's all, whatever you have guided us, like
No, no,
our
definitely.
seniors, especially you. सो एनिमल हैंडलिंग से लेकर
हाँ.
मोस्ट ऑफ द चीजें हमने आपसे ही सीखी है. सो आई एम whenever I'm doing experiments, whenever I'm handling
Hmm.
animal, like I get reminded about you often. Like it's
Hmm.
you made our journey so easy out here.
Thank
And
you.
about the personalities, yeah, NIPER will do that to you. You would not be the same person as you have entered NIPER. It kind of changes you and changes you in a
Take
good
this
way.
as a motivation. I like how Barsha ma'am also danced, sing her personality overall. So आप लोगों की भी बिल्कुल वैसी होगी and you will be also getting to learn a lot of new things, instruments, resources. Barsha, you will be working on Parkinson, correct?
So I'm working on Alzheimer's.
Oh, sorry, Alzheimer's. Okay, so मैम ने इतने सारे बायोकेमिकल इतने सारी नई नई चीजें she has learned there in the lab and performed experiments. You will also get soon chance to do that. बस मेहनत करो.
Yeah, I'll tell you, work hard, like really hard. To be honest, मैं जब नाइपर का मुझे सीट मिला था, मुझे उतना पता नहीं था कि यहाँ पे आके क्या होने वाला है, कैसा होने वाला है. I did not know, but believe me, it's good. Like it's so good. It's just 2 months, and after this, we'll be leaving the campus, and we are already missing it. And honestly, a normal M Farm college can never do that. मतलब मैं सिर्फ
Correct.
instrument, qualified faculty या फिर expensive crores and lakhs के instruments को देख के मैं नहीं बोल रही हूँ. Overall, मतलब atmosphere, जैसे तुम गेट के अंदर घुसते हो, it's a totally different atmosphere. Like it's a different world, and I feel like it's a blessing to be here. मैं जब आई थी मुझे खुद ही नहीं पता था कि मैं इतना मतलब एक ऐसी जगह में आ गई हूँ इम्पोर्टेंट. जैसा होता है ना, जैसे प्रिपरेशन के टाइम बच्चे देखते हैं कि नाइपर मोहाली नाइपर अहमदाबाद ऐसा वैसा होता है. मैंने ये सब नहीं किया सर. I did not
Absolutely.
do all, I did not do all this. I was like, once I clear the exam and I'll see the college then according to my rank. नहीं तो hurt होगा.
वो हार्ट
Hurt
ब्रेक हो
होगा.
जाएगा अगर नहीं
हाँ,
पहुंचे if you don't
इसलिए
reach
मैंने
there.
I did not like पहले ही मैंने देख के नहीं रखा था. एज अ मोटिवेशन मुझे पता था नाइपर मोहाली इज द बेस्ट एंड इट्स अ वेरी गुड थिंग इफ यू कैन गेट द बेस्ट. But at the same time, I only focused on my preparation.
Barsha students are very smart. They know I'm going to take their Viva. They have written as soon as you took Alzheimer, Shubham has written Tacrine as a drug of choice. Then they have also written the ring and Tacrine, the toxicity by Tacrine.
Yeah, it's banned.
But yeah, it is currently banned. It is not being used. Donepezil.
Donepezil, yeah. So we use it as a standard drug even in our experiments. So yeah, that's
Definitely.
great.
Absolutely.
Okay, मतलब चल रहा है इनका पढ़ाई सही है.
Good, chalo. Happy to know that. So again, once again, Barsha, really good to see you, connect to you, and I hope the same feeling even my students have after listening to you, after listening to your personal strategy of pharma and non-pharma content. And congratulations to you once again for a lovely placement and lovely career ahead. Got to know about
Thank you
it.
so
Very
much,
happy
sir.
for you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक है.
Sir, and
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this student, if they
Yeah.
want to ask any query to me even personally, they
You
can
can
connect
you
to me.
can connect to Barsha Bhardwaj on LinkedIn. Okay, I will share her
Yeah.
profile or you can directly type Barsha Bhardwaj on LinkedIn. That's the best platform where you can professionally connect to her and ask your queries and give my reference
So
also. So she will
yeah,
take it on priority, hopefully.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
of course, do that, because
Hmm.
sometimes it's a lot of text and
Lot of
inboxes in
texts.
LinkedIn, right? So
Correct.
we
Hmm.
sometimes have to prioritize. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'd be definitely available for you guys. So just
That's
mention sir's name and you can text me anything, any doubt. So I'd be eager to help actually.
that's great. Anjali, I think so. That's a little difficult. Barsha, if you can, what she has written in the chat.
Yeah, I'm available on LinkedIn,
LinkedIn
and
is you
even
can connect to her.
yeah, LinkedIn. I'm available on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
and then there's even for email. Sir will share my profile
Yeah,
in
you can
email.
mail her as well. That is also
You
absolutely
can
all right.
email me, and sir will share the profile.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you so much, Barsha. Have a great day.
Okay.
And
Same to
all
you,
of you
sir.
stay back. महावाइवा हो गया आप लोगों की आज. आप सबको रुकना पड़ेगा. वर्षा, thank you very much. You
Okay,
can
okay.
leave.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
तुम्हारी भी
sir.
वाइवा लेने आएंगे जून में.
Oh,
चलो.
yes, sir, definitely. Oh my God.
महावाइवा.
This is one of the, striking thing about sir, apart from
Hmm.
all the seniors, is that whenever we used to meet, I'll go out of my hostel gate, and if sir is like just passing by me, sir will ask me two questions, and हम इतना टेंशन में पड़ जाते थे क्योंकि सर हमेशा जो नए नए डेवलपमेंट्स होते रहते थे
Hmm.
फार्माकोलॉजी में, उससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछते थे. ऐसा भी नहीं कि जीपेट और नाइपर के प्रिपरेशन में जो हमने पढ़ाई किया था,
Hmm.
सो हमको मतलब कैसे भी करके अपडेटेड रहना पड़ता था, नहीं तो सर को हम आंसर नहीं कर पाते थे तो फिर से पकड़ते थे, तो हमको कैसे भी पढ़ना ही पड़ता था. सर इट हेल्प्ड मी अ लॉट एक्चुअली during my interview.
अच्छा.
Some of the things I studied during that time, I was able to communicate those things to the
That's great.
interviewers. Very grateful, sir. Very
That's great.
grateful.
That's great. Thank you very much, Barsha. So good to hear. Oh, all right. Have a great future ahead. We'll stay in touch shortly. Hope you to excel well in life and achieve lot of potential in you. Just keep
Thank you so much,
exploring,
sir.
navigating. All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
ठीक है, बाकी सब
Bye,
रुकेंगे
sir.
आज. या बाय बाय. बाकी सब रुकेंगे आज. न्यूरो पे हमें कुछ सवाल आप लोगों को पूछने हैं. सिंस आज वर्षा मैम आई थी आपकी, तो आज न्यूरो के कुछ सवाल आप लोगों के साथ. तो सबके कैमरा ऑन होने चाहिए. गर्ल्स के लिए ऑप्शनल है, अगर लड़कियां चाहे तो ऑन कर सकती है. लड़के सारे ऑन कर दे जल्दी से. आज तो वाइवा आपको देख के होगी. अल्जाइमर, पार्किंसन, डिप्रेशन, एपिलेप्सी, साइकोसिस, सारा कुछ आज आपको देख के हम बताएंगे. एवरीबडी कैमराज ऑन. और इस बात को सुन के कोई छोड़ मत जाना. टी शर्ट पहनना पड़ेगा, पहनो. आई डोंट केयर. गर्मी है, आई नो इट इज वेरी हॉट. मुझे भी हॉट लग रहा है. मेरा एसी भी बंद है. बिल बचाना है. सो या जल्दी जल्दी से एवरीबडी वी कैन स्विच ऑफ आवर कैमरा, स्विच ऑन आवर कैमरास. एक भी बंदे ने नहीं किया अब तक. इसका मतलब क्या मैं ये समझू कि सब लेट के पढ़ रहे हैं? एवरीबडी इज स्लीपिंग. नो. ओके, चलो कैमरा ऑफ करके ये आंसर दे दो बस मेरे. बस 4 सवाल होंगे, ज्यादा नहीं. कैन यू टेल मी विच इज अ ड्रग ऑफ चॉइस इन ओसीडी, ऑब्सेसिव कंपल्सिव डिसऑर्डर? विच इज अ ड्रग ऑफ चॉइस इन ओसीडी? Which SSRI? Fluvoxamine, fluoxetine. Okay. Can you tell me that which of the following is an example of a sodium channel blocker? Ethosuximide, lamotrigine, phenytoin, none of the above. Of a sodium channel blocker. Phenytoin. Lamotrigine क्या है फिर? इथोसक्सेमाइड तो कैल्शियम चैनल ब्लॉकर है. लैमोट्रिग्रीन नहीं ब्लॉक करता सोडियम को. लैमोट्रिग्रीन डजंट ब्लॉक सोडियम. लैमोट्रिग्रीन सोडियम चैनल्स को ब्लॉक नहीं करता. यस, जो आपके लोकल एनेस्थेटिक्स है, व्हाट डू दे डू? आप एक एरिया पे लगाते, दैट एरिया बिकम्स नम, राइट? व्हाई डज दैट एरिया बिकम नम? वो एरिया आपका नम इसीलिए हो. हाँ भाई करण, लेफ्ट हो गए थे मैंने जैसी वाइवा का नाम लिया. क्यों ऐसे? या नेटवर्क इश्यू था? यस, इट ब्लॉक्स द सोडियम चैनल ब्लॉकर. एब्सोल्युटली. Lamotrigine is also a sodium channel blocker. Okay, it's not just phenytoin. Now, can you tell me from the next question comes from the mania. Can you tell me which are the anti-epileptic drugs which can be used in mania and bipolar? Not lithium carbonate. I'm asking about the antipsychotic drugs which can be used as the anti-epileptic drug which can be used as the tell me anti-epileptic drug which can be used as in mania and bipolar. All right. Diazepam, sodium valproic acid. Okay. Everybody quickly switch on your cameras. जल्दी से अपने कैमरास ऑन करेंगे सभी लोग. जल्दी से सभी लोग अपने कैमरास ऑन करेंगे. ओके, स्नेहा ने कर दिया है. मराठी स्नेहा इज प्रेजेंट. अंजलि ने कर दिया. शुभम ने कर दिया. मतलब सब क्लास में है, एक्टिव है. ठीक है. आंचल ने नहीं करा है. ओके. कार्बाजेपिन. अच्छा, कार्बाजेपिन से मुझे बताएंगे आप लोग के ऑक्स कार्बामेजेपिन और कार्बामेजेपिन में क्या डिफरेंस है? एनीबडी यू कैन टेल मी ऑक्स कार्बामेजेपिन एंड कार्बामेजेपिन में क्या डिफरेंस है? हमने सुना है ये दोनों ड्रग्स के नाम, कार्बामेजेपिन, और उसी के साथ उसका एडवर्स इफेक्ट भी बताएंगे मुझे. उसी के साथ मुझे उसका एडवर्स इफेक्ट भी बताएंगे आप लोग जल्दी से.